Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second first try of the day, aka First Try 2, Electric Boogaloo. My name is Nick, and this time we take a look at Defragmented. Defragmented is developed by Glass Knuckle Games, and it's a mixture between Borderlands, without bullet sponginess, and Hotline Miami. Before we go into the game, I will give you a short look at the options menu, where we see a nice range of options. One thing I'd like to add though is that the navigation without the mouse sucks quite a bit. I mean, you can press the corresponding numbers to navigate, which is totally fine, but with the controller you have to do a lot of scrolling up and down. Also, the fact that the sound options are not sliders and the resolution and graphics options are not drop-down menus is a little bit annoying. Just as a little heads up here, I will try to avoid spoilers as best as I can and just show you some gameplay. So, what do you do in this city called Entropolis? You kill all the bad guys. You can do so by choosing bird's eye view, or you can tip the camera to about 45 degrees. For killing them you get to acquire a nice range of weapons, bombs and power cores, which are passive upgrades. Apart from that, you have different classes that each have a more defensive and a more offensive talent tree, as well as a set of free abilities. And here is where the problems begin. The talents themselves are all passives, so you don't get to see an immediate impact. Basically, the comparison to vanilla WoW talents is very much appropriate here. The defensive talents also include dodge chance for the Cyber Circle as an example. Now, you might ask, well, what is dodge then? Good question, but I will answer that later on. Because now we go into the meat of the game, which is the looting. And here is where the fun really begins. You have item qualities: common, uncommon, rare, epic and legendary, or as some people might know them as white, green, blue, purple and orange. These qualities determine the strength of an item, and almost all the time it is true that rarer is better. But wait, there is more! Items have affixes, as in weak, inaccurate and so on. But what does it mean? I have absolutely no idea, as it seems to have little effect on increasing or decreasing the stats that are in the name. What can happen though is that you run around with your white gun for level 14 and pick up an epic gun for level 15 only to find out that it is weaker than your current gun. And this is where the fun continues. You know, normally when a game is focused on loot, it should try and make it a great experience. This is not the case here. I have to look for quite some time to determine whether or not that legendary item is worthwhile or just there to generate more cash. What does not help either is courtesy of it being able to be played with a controller as well, which is the fact that I have to swap through my gear in order to check whether the item is better than what I'm currently having. What would help is the ability you have in Diablo 3. Press Alt, or was it Control? I don't know. Anyway, press a key to show comparisons with the gear I haven't equipped. Speaking of Diablo 3, the steady increase of enemy level is what makes this game really hard to play through quickly. Well, why is that, you might ask? Good question. Remember when I talked about looting? Yeah, not only is it not that great, you also don't get the chance to do it that often. Item drops are rare as hell, and in order to progress through a level that is too quote-unquote hard for your level, you have to grind your way through previous levels to either get the items you need or to get enough credits to buy some items and upgrade the loot and buy level. Doesn't that ring a Diablo 3 auction house bell with you? The loot and buy level is upgraded by spending credits, which is the currency in this world. You can either find vendor boxes in the levels, or you get your campaign to chapter 2 to unlock the level and buy stuff there. You can also deposit items there for twink characters if you decide to make it. Let's get to another thing that irks me, which is the RNG element. Remember when I talked about affixes for items and item quality? Yeah, well, let's take a look at a weapon then. As you can see, there's a damage range, a magazine size, bullet speed, and accuracy? All these stats are randomly determined from a set table. For example, you can get a shotgun with either a magazine size of 12 or a magazine size of 4. Well, but what is this accuracy thing now? As far as I've seen, accuracy determines how far and how often a shot can deter from the direction you're aiming towards. That doesn't factor in standing still and preparing a shot for a considerable amount of time, which makes tactical gameplay a lot less useful. But wait, there's even more! Enemies that are not aware of your presence can dodge bullets! Wait, didn't I say what dodge means? Oh, I'm sorry. Dodge means that you or the enemy takes no damage from a hit. Yep. That was the point where I was done with that game. I mean, I got to the end to see whether there is a dedicated endgame there. However, apart from a New Game Plus mode, I didn't find such a thing. But let's stay on the dodge thing for a while. So, you have a chance to not hit an enemy while you are hitting him. Combine that with the accuracy stat of your weapon, the fact that critical hits exist, and the reaction time by the enemy that is about minus 0.5 seconds. And you have a recipe for a frustrating, unrewarding experience in which the most commonly and best question ever is why? Why do we need so much RNG? Why do we have a chance to take no damage from bullets although you're being hit? Why is the scaling so broken? I breeze for one level with ease, and on the next one enemies can take up to 3 hits whilst instantly critting me to death. Why do you make accuracy such a broken stat? You know, having a sniper rifle that deals 200 to 220 damage is nice, but an accuracy of 20% renders it totally useless! I mean, okay, the game is okay, don't get me wrong, the soundtrack is great, the art style is good, the level design is alright, and the concept is fine, but it is all these annoyances, all these, well, not so little things, that degrade my playing experience in a way that I cannot recommend this game. So, yeah, that was Defragmented, ladies and gentlemen. It is available on Steam for $14.99 or your regional equivalent. If you're happy with this video, thumb it up. If you're not so happy with it, then, well, don't. And if you're mean, you might want to press that thumbs down button. Comments can be made as well, the box is right below the video. My name has been Nick, ladies and gentlemen, and I shall see you guys next time.